Welcome back to the chat room. I'm Rich Simpson, your host, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. We've been on the air for 10 years here on Channel 20, and we are lucky to have Lieutenant Harry McCann here with us. And he's teaches at the Law Enforcement Academy at DeKalb Tech.
Yes, sir.
All right, and tell a little bit about yourself, what agency you're with officially, and a little bit about where you're from and stuff like that.
Officially, I'm with DeKalb Technical College. I'm employed as an instructor with the college. I'm also a sworn police officer with the DeKalb Technical College Police Department.
Okay, all righty, all right, good deal. And you got this this Law Enforcement Academy has been in place how long?
We started the first class January 2009.
Okay, so a little over a year. Now, the Law Enforcement Academy is training officers differently now. How did they used to do that?
It's not so much about the training differently. We have extended the training quite a bit with our program, but the biggest factor that's changed is the push now is go get your education first. Trying to bring it more in the lines of a profession as a doctor or a lawyer might, where they go get their college degree and they take their bar exam or medical exam or whatever it is, and then they have their certification,
right,
and then they go find a job.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, or generally speaking, a lot of departments, they would hire you and then send you to 8, 9, 10, or 11, I believe it's 11 weeks now for some of the academies. They would send you to that 11 weeks of training, and they'd pay you your salary and your benefit and everything that goes along with that while you were away at training for that period of time. So the citizens of that community weren't actually using your services during that 11-week period,
right,
that you were being paid by the department.
All right, now one thing, kind of, I guess a little bit of an expansion of that is specifically, now officers I know used to get the job then certified.
Right.
That was part of your answer there with
right,
that particular thing. So it's better to do it this way because what?
Well, number one, it saves the departments and counties and cities a lot of money. The several factors come into play. Number one, if you hire somebody, you don't know if they're actually going to pass the training or not. So you may hire them, start paying them a salary, start paying their benefits, buy uniforms, buy equipment, things of that nature for this officer that you've hired, send them to training. They may last in training for 4 or 5 weeks and then fail out. Once they've done that, they're done. Mm-hmm. Pretty much the department has to start over with somebody new. So with the new program in place that's in the technical colleges, you go get your education, you go get your certification prior to getting hired on by somebody. That way when you go to a department, you tell them, I already have my state certification as a peace officer. That's a whole lot less they've got to worry about later on.
Now, how was the Law Enforcement Academy born at DeKalb Tech?
At DeKalb Tech. In 2008, the POST, the Peace Officer Standards and Training Council, and the Technical College System of Georgia came together. They had been talked about for years and years about moving it into the technical system, the technical college system, and finally in 2008, those two groups came together and said, this is what we want to do. And they went out and to many of the technical colleges and said, if you're interested, let us know. We're going to pick some colleges for academies to be moved into. And DeKalb Tech was one of 6 that was chosen in the state.
Now, we've got under a minute right now, but how many classes have you had so far?
We are currently in our 5th class.
5th class?
Yes, sir. And
that was January of 2009 when you got...
We did 3 classes in 2009, and we've done 1 class so far in 2010, and we're in our 2nd class now.
All right. Now, let me ask, how long is the course, each class?
Each class is 17 weeks.
Okay. Now, we've got about 20 seconds now. There's 3 campuses.
Yes, sir.
All right. How do you spread those people?
We are located on what they call the Newton Center, which is off City Pond Road.
Right. Okay. So then you have one for Clarkston and... No,
sir. We're the only academy in DeKalb Tech is at Newton Center.
Okay. But as far... Well, I'll get back to it next. We're about to run out of time for this segment, and I'll ask you that in a second. This is the chat room. Lieutenant Harry McCann is with us with the Law Enforcement Academy, and we will be back. And we are back with the chat room here on Channel 20 locally in Newton County. Lieutenant Harry McCann is our guest. He's with the Law Enforcement Academy at DeKalb Tech. And Lieutenant McCann, I've already talked to you about how long the training was. What does the training consist of?
It's 17 weeks long, and we start with the basics of intro to criminal justice system, everything about courts, corrections, law enforcement, all the different agencies within those realms of the judicial process, if you will. From there, we'll go into constitutional law, criminal law, traffic law. We do traffic stops, defensive tactics, firearms, EVOC, which is the emergency vehicle operators course, a driving course. Pretty much anything that you can imagine that a basic police officer would need to have, we do it. Interviews and interrogations, anything basic, we'll cover it.
How much of that course is physical stuff, crawling on the ground and all that kind of stuff, running?
Actually, with our program, we do physical training every day. We're either running or doing some sort of calisthenics, such as push-ups, sit-ups, different, jumping jacks, whatever we may come up with. But as far as the course itself, the most physical part of it will be defensive tactics, and that's about a week long.
Mm-hmm. Now, understand you take a good many field trips.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about some of those.
During constitutional law, we'll go to the Georgia Supreme Court. We'll spend a day at the Georgia Supreme Court where we will participate in a mock trial. The recruits in the class kind of get to see how case law comes about as a result of actions made by officers on the road. So we'll visit Georgia Supreme Court. On that same day, we'll go to the Capitol building. If we have the opportunity and they're available, we'll meet with senators or some other political figure that can talk to them and give them some sort of reference as to how law works, how law is made, that sort of thing. We will visit superior courts, magistrate courts, listen to preliminary hearings and actual courtrooms in cases. We'll visit GBI and observe an autopsy while at the GBI headquarters in Decatur.
Just a lot of different.
Yeah, it's a lot of different things.
Where they're going to learn something for the practical application.
Yes, sir.
Being there. Let's talk a little bit about job placement. What percentage of the ones that graduate from the Law Enforcement Academy find jobs immediately? Is there some sort of placement service?
Well, myself and the director, Beverly Thomas, the director of the academy, we work very diligently to try to get people jobs. We understand that's why they're coming to the technical college, so we work with them as best as we can and trying to help them send out applications, set up interviews, things of that nature. The 3 classes from last year were right around 80% placement right now. Some of them that don't get placed are for background issues that we didn't know anything about, that we were unable to find out about in the process that we use to get into the academy. Or a lot of times is age. We'll have folks come to us because at age 18 you can be a police officer, but most departments won't hire you until you're 21.
Right. Okay, so they've got the course, but they're 18 when they get through, so basically they just do something else until...
Or even 19 or 20. Actually, we encourage them to work on their core classes, their English, math, literature, things of that nature, so that they're a little bit closer to 21 when they graduate, because the certification that you obtain is only good for 18 months.
All right, we've got about 20 seconds. Just so the viewers will know a little bit about you, where you're from, and...
From Conyers. Worked 15 years for Conyers Police Department before we started in this process.
Okay. So you're kind of Rockdale Heritage?
Rockdale.
Rockdale High School?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for coming on, and great to know that academy's out there at DeKalb Tech. So that's a good thing. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Harry McCann with the Law Enforcement Academy at DeKalb Tech. This is the chat room. We shall return.